Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 290 of the Civil Gore podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Brian, and we are like now 10 episodes away there from our big 300th episode. Gotta get planning on that.
Yeah, that snuck up on us, didn't it?
Yeah, it felt like it was like, it'd be we still got a while, but now it's like just over 2 months. Probably. Yeah. So I need to really get moving on that so we can make sure it's worthy of the 300th, you know. Maybe we'll get Gerard Butler in to come in, and, you know.
Yeah, there you go. But we have a great episode tonight because, and I thought, like, I was stressing today at work because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get this movie in tonight in time to record, and we have a very tight recording schedule this week. But I'm so glad that I was able to fit it in because this movie was freaking awesome.
It was, right? Yeah, and we're talking about Late Night with the Devil, which unfortunately you cannot watch yet, I don't think, at the time of this recording, but our embargo date is lifted as of today. So that's why you're here. You'll be able to hear about it. We'll try and avoid some spoilers, but if you want to go in completely blind, don't listen yet till you get to see it. I think it comes out everywhere though on the 22nd, but and Shudder eventually. I just don't know when on Shudder because we actually did not get the screener from Shudder. We got it from like the UK production company. It seems like sent this to us. So yeah, I'm not sure where you'll be able to see this yet. I mean, I assume it'll be theaters here too. So first, I guess, and then eventually Shudder. So keep an eye out for it. And as soon as we find out, of course, we'll update you because this movie. I mean, I'm sure everyone has like seen the trailer and seen the images. Because I know that David Dalsmalchian picture they keep showing of him on it. You know, it's like makes it look unusual right from the start, and then when you see it, it's I can't wait to talk about it, but we'll try and refrain and spoil and make it as little spoiler as possible, but just like some things may leak out. So if you really don't want to hear anything, just pause it and then come back to it.
Yeah, we'll keep it very broad, but if you don't want to know anything, if you want to be completely surprised, I would say wait till it comes out. So we have a pretty small but significant first chop. All right, Brian, so we got a screener for a movie that's kind of a little bit off our beaten path, but I guess it kind of horror-ish if you think of death as being horror.
Well, since I'm afraid of it, yeah.
So. This one was it's not really a horror film, but it's kind of in our purview in terms of our how we love to discuss ghosts and things like that. And this one was called After Death, and this is actually a documentary about the afterlife and near-death experiences more specifically. And it goes into, basically firsthand encounters of people that have had near-death experiences, some pretty interesting experts that are talking about it. I would say it definitely leans more towards the spiritual explanation of life after death more than the scientific, of near-death experiences, I should say, versus the scientific, because there's scientific theories about it just as well. I think it leans more towards the spiritual side, but obviously I can't tell you which way you're going to believe. All I can tell you is that the documentary was very well put together. It was really entertaining. So whatever side of the fence you fall on in terms of your actual belief, and whether that's really the afterlife or if it's just brain synapses firing randomly or whatever you want to believe, I would still say if you're interested in the subject matter, which I am, very much so, I think you'll enjoy this documentary. It's very entertaining.
Now, is it pure documentary, or are there reenactment things in it at all, or just like when they tell the stories, or is it just pure like?
I feel like there were some reenactments, but it wasn't like cheesy, like Unsolved Mysteries type reenactments.
Yeah. No, like because some do it well. Like remember that one we saw in Sleep Paralysis? How frightening that one was because the reenactments were done so well that it was almost like you didn't think it was a reenactment that was done so like professionally. But
it was a very well put together documentary. Like it was very it didn't stay on a subject too long before it would switch to someone else, and then it would circle back around. I thought it was very well put together, and it was definitely entertaining if you're interested in that subject matter. So check it out. That one is After Death.
Nice. So this, one of the ones I saw, I actually watched this a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't sure of the embargo date on it. I hope I'm not breaking it now. I don't think it, but that's why I waited a little bit anyway. It's called Windigo. It's like it's this one's spelled Windigo, and I've seen it spelled Wendigo.
With the E,
with the E, but it's all the same kind of mythology from what I understand. This one is about a specific like family that they rush over to their grandmother's house, who's this Native American family, and she's like, I guess, really like old school and like convinced this about the legend of the Wendigo. And obviously I'm not going to give any spoilers away of what happens, but basically the son, who's kind of getting bullied, gets away. And I noticed the Wendigo legend, based off at least the way they portrayed it in this, very Pumpkinhead-esque. Very much like this one is very well and I'm not an expert on the Wendigo, however you want to spell it, or and if this is as accurate as some of the other tales of it. I feel like it's one of those things that's like the different cultures' interpretations of it. But I guess, and I could be wrong on it, but this movie is very. If you loved Pumpkinhead, I think you'll really like this one. A lot.
Yeah, I do. I do like that.
Yeah,
I like the whole Wendigo legend in general.
Well, yeah. Now, is it usually like that where someone like feels like they kind of get into the Wendigo's, like the body, like kind of encompasses the Wendigo's body as it's doing things? Is that the normal one? Because that's the way they portray it in this film.
I don't recall that specifically. But
so maybe they got some inspiration from Pumpkinhead. But either way, it's really well done. It's really good. And I don't know sure when it's coming out. I think it might be on VOD already, honestly. I think it was like right when we got it, it was coming on within a week. Let's see here. It's 2024. It's release. And it looks, it's already on Prime Video. So obviously the embargo's done. You can rent it for 99 cents actually on Prime if you don't have, if you don't. I'm sure it's on other VODs also, but yeah, definitely check it out. But if you like Pumpkinhead and any kind of like Native American lore, I think you'll really love this film. It's really well done and really good.
Cool. Continuing my Horror 365 challenge, which I've been slacking on lately, I got to get back to it, but I watched Street Trash from 1987.
Boy, did you get engagement on that one today.
Wow, yes. This is a popular film, and I know it because I've seen it in so many documentaries. It always gets mentioned in horror documentaries, but for some reason, I've just never gotten around to watching it.
Did Joe Bob show it? I feel like he showed it.
I feel like he might have showed it one time, and I missed it. I don't know, but
because I feel like I watched it like with people tweeting about it as it was going on. So I don't know but I also get confused with this one and that one with the brain.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I get those two confused in terms of watching. I mean, I've seen them both, but I feel like I get them. I might have gotten the event confused.
Yeah. Well, Street Trash was everything its reputation has lived up to. I didn't know what to expect going in. I knew it had people melting. That's like all I knew from the like documentaries and stuff. But this movie is so insane, and it's not like it doesn't even really have a plot that I could make out. It's just I don't know. It was like dirt embodied into a movie. Everybody in it is filthy. Every set is filthy. It takes place in a junkyard and alleys, and it's like it's the most filthy, dirty, disgusting, not in like a sexual way or anything. It's just like actual grime. Like I felt like I needed to take a shower after watching this movie. But obviously had some great gore effects. It's really funny. It's completely bonkers. I could tell why this is like a cult classic, because I can't imagine how much fun it would be to throw this on while you're drinking with your buddies and watching this. Like I think it would be a blast. So I loved Street Trash. I am now an official Street Trash fan.
Yeah, and aren't they having like a new release of it coming out or something? Like I want to say Shout Factory or Arrow, one of those. I thought I saw something.
If they do, I'll be grabbing it because
I think I saw someone post about it, unless they were just posting an old version of it.
This one got the most engagement on Twitter of all of the movie challenges I've done so far.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
I think because it's one of those because I think I think to a lot of our followers, that we're all part of the mutant family thing. So I think that's a very Joe Bob-esque type of movie. So I think
Yeah,
those are the ones that
very
tend to get the
drive-in.
most. Yeah, they get the most attention when we post it.
Yeah.
So the other one I watched is one that I think you said you watched and you were kind of okay on it. But I don't know, but I heard it's based on the book, and it's Dark Harvest. And this is one I've always wanted to see once I heard the plot. And I guess it's got it was delayed for a couple of years, right? I forget the whole backstory to it, but
Oh no, I like this one.
oh, you did like it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I did
okay.
like this one. Yeah.
Okay, I might have got confused. Yeah, this one I really like this one. I
Yeah.
love the premise. First of all,
premise
I think
was
it's a
cool.
really cool premise. I like that it was not in current times, and it was back in I guess the 50s or 60s. He's got the because when he first said, he goes, "You just got a Corvette or something," and then I see the car that they give him. I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is okay. This is back in time. It's not just people dressed up as because in the beginning you can't tell necessarily because it's Halloween, so you don't
Yeah.
know if people are just in kind of costumes or whatever. But yeah, it's really cool. Plot point. If you're not familiar with, basically this. I forgot the name of the guy though. What's his name?
Sawtooth Jack.
Sawtooth Jack,
Yeah.
or they call him October Boy, right?
Yeah.
I guess, or
Yeah, I think
And-
they refer to him as October Boy, too.
yeah. So it's each year, I guess, in this town, this creature comes back, and basically all the boys in the town are supposed to hunt him down and try to kill him. It's almost like the Purge in a way,
Yeah.
where because other violence is allowed, it seems, in this. It's all hands on deck, in terms of because people are killing each other because they want to win. And if they get the kill, I guess it's almost like the Hunger Games where your family's set for life. You
Yeah,
get,
like
this
you get
fancy house,
you get
bills
tons
paid,
of cash.
fancy,
Yeah.
I won't say why, but of course, everything is too good to be true when you see that, and there's some interesting twists. But overall, it really deals with some cool social issues of the times. There's really cool gore, really cool effects. It moves at a really good pace. It is never a dull moment in this movie. And I was really, I'm why have I not seen this yet? I should have seen this much sooner. But I think, the backstory was that it was, because I remember hearing about this years ago, but I feel
Yeah.
it just came out in the past year.
Yeah, it was
Right?
I think it was first announced in 2019.
Right. Okay.
So it was in development for a while. Yeah.
And it was based on a book I saw, right? Did you read the
Yeah.
book or
No, I
Oh,
never
you
read the book. I just,
you never read?
Which I kind of want to go back and read it now. 'Cause
I
think
know.
it'd be
I
cool.
want to kind of see because usually with the book, I'll probably go into a lot more of the the social injustice issues that are kind of played out through the movie. I'd like to see how the book tackles that. But overall, it was really fun movie. It's
I thought the
you
kills
know-
were so good in this one too.
yeah. I mean, it's it did not look cheap in any way. I thought the effects were really well done. It's on Prime now. If you have an Amazon Prime membership, you can see it. So you don't even need to rent it or anything. As long as you have the Prime. And I think that's a fun one. I think that'd be a fun group watch too. I could see a lot of group a tweet along. I talked to Jeff Whitmire, see if he wants to do one of those.
Yeah,
for
that'd
that
be fun.
movie, because that's a fun one.
I'm into anything that's got a pumpkin man or a pumpkin boy or a pumpkin anything. You know me.
Yeah.
I love pumpkin. I like humanoid pumpkin things.
Yeah, that's right up our alley.
Yeah.
Anything around, pretty much anything that takes place in October, you already are
Yes.
one ear perks up. Then if
Yeah.
you start talking about some old Halloween legend and that happens yearly around Halloween, the other ears perked up.
Yeah.
So you pretty much had us with this one.
Yeah.
But I remember someone talking about it and they kept laughing about it, going, "What's October Boy?" And they were talking about that. I don't know if it was Crystal maybe from Horror Nights In. Remember she used to do when she had her
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
She does mostly social media stuff, but I want to say she might have mentioned it first years ago. So that's But so go
It's
check
a
that
great
out
one.
if you got a chance. So, but now let's get into the movie at hand,
Oh,
which
my
I
gosh.
misspelled on this page, unfortunately, but it's okay. We know what it's called.
Yes.
It's Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil. This one's directed by Cameron Cairns and Colin Cairns, and it stars one of my favorite actors
Yeah.
right now. Who I swear this guy's in everything.
He's
in
and he's
everything.
deserving to be in everything because
Yeah.
he's awesome.
And so varied roles. I mean, he's like in superhero movies and horror movies, and he's doing the stuff on the Chainsaw Awards. So
I love that he hosts on the Chainsaw Award, and he gets into it too, and he like interacts with people about it.
He's all over the place.
He's the best guy. Yeah. He'd be like a fun guest to have. I would love to see if we can somehow get him on the show.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, if you haven't been figured out by the clue, it's David Dalmachian.
Yeah, David Dalmachian, who plays Jack Delroy, the lead in this. We have Laura Gordon as June Ross Mitchell, Ian Bliss as Carmichael Haig. I might screw this name up. Sorry, Christou, character of Christou. Faisal Bazzi plays Christou. Ingrid Torelli as Lily Dabo. Reese Alteri as Gus McConnell. Josh Kwong Tart as Leo Fisk. Georgina
What a
Haig.
name. Josh Kwong Tart.
Josh Kwong Tart. That's cool.
It sounds like a bakery item, but still, it's really cool.
Really good.
Yeah.
I like getting names that sound like food because I love
me too,
I love
yeah.
food.
Like it was like Bob Brisket or something like that. Like to me, that's like cool. You know?
Georgina Haig as Madeline Delroy, Steve Mouzakis as Zandor Diabo. A live television broadcast in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms. I'll tell you, when I saw this trailer, I bet I wasn't even 10 seconds into this trailer, and I was already on board.
Yeah, same here. I was on board with the pictures, just the images of it.
Oh, I know, and I love Ghost Watch, and this is has very, very strong Ghost Watch feel.
I said the same thing, and in fact, when I was done watching this, I put on Ghost Watch just to watch for fun, even though I'd seen it, so it's not for the challenge or anything. It's just one of my comfort movies I throw on sometimes at night. So I threw that on because I got such Ghost Watch vibes from it because of the old school like live show thing.
Yeah. And then let me tell you this. I was a diehard That's Incredible fan. You remember That's Incredible?
I remember that show. Do you remember the episode where the guy beat Dragon's Lair on it?
Yes, I remember pretty much every episode because I watched that religiously when I was a kid. That's Incredible, for you guys that are much younger than we are, was I don't even know how to describe this because they really don't make shows like this much anymore. I guess it was kind of like what you would see on Discovery Channel in terms of like, well, I guess the closest thing would be maybe something like Unsolved Mysteries or something on Discovery Channel where they're going into different kind of unexplained events. But it wasn't all that. Like sometimes it was people that had incredible talents and they would bring them on and they would do incredible talents. But then sometimes they would do ghost stories and then sometimes they would do other things. Like it was so varied. It's almost like a variety show, but you had hosts that would host the segments in between. And I don't know, you'd almost have to look on YouTube and look it up because they just
and I was just looking it up as you were discussing it because I knew we knew people were gonna want to do it. YouTube has a bunch of episodes on there.
Yeah. So and I've gone back and looked at a few of them, but it's hard to describe because they just don't make shows like this anymore. Like I said, the closest thing I can come is like one of those Discovery Channel documentaries that talks about different cryptids or something. But imagine that, but with hosts that are on.
And remember listen to this group of people. You got John Davidson, who is like, like he was one of those like hosts with the most. He was on all these different things he hosted.
Yeah.
Kathy Lee Crosby and Fran Tarkenton.
Yep. Yeah. It was so weird.
That's what I thought was cool about it. It got like different types of hosts too in there. Like you didn't have a signature host.
Yeah, it was very strange, but it was so fascinating. I loved it. And there's no doubt in my mind that That's Incredible sparked my love of ghost stories. I don't remember if they actually did cryptid stuff. I know they did the Toys R Us ghost haunting, which scared the living crap out of me as a kid.
Which that one is located. That was located, like maybe like from where I'm living now, about like 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the one. It was the one. I think it was the one in San Jose. It was on El Camino. Well, at least if that wasn't the episode about it, that one has a very big, famous haunting legend also.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch that segment because that's like total kinder trauma. That episode of the Toys R Us ghost like freaked me out. But they would have. I think they probably had psychics and stuff on there. They had all kinds of crazy stuff. But anyway, this show reminded me of that because Jack Delroy, David Dalmachian's character, is a host for a late night show. Now, in this version, it's not like a That's Incredible show. It's like an actual like Johnny Carson type show.
Yeah, which they actually, that's a big piece. Like they bring in reality into it. The fact that like they tell you in the opening kind of a thing where that he's the host he is he's like Carson's one. He's like too, and that's his goal is to kind of get up to Carson level.
Yeah,
with his show.
So he's doing a late night show, but unfortunately, a tragedy occurs, which I won't go into. I'm going to stay very high level in terms of spoilers. A tragedy occurs. He kind of fades out of the spotlight for a little bit. His ratings start to plummet, and he decides to make a comeback. And to make that comeback, he kind of gets, he kind of goes like the Jerry Springer route. Like he starts going a little, bringing guests on that are maybe a little wild, just anything to get ratings. He's going completely kind of off the wall to get ratings. And his big comeback during Sweeps Week is going to be this Halloween special in which he's going to bring a psychic who can supposedly communicate with the afterlife. He's going to bring on a magician who is very much modeled after James Randi, who is now a skeptic and who's going to come on. And then he's also got this girl and her doctor, who is her ward, was rescued from a cult and has a book about her experiences with this cult. And so, I don't want to say a cult. It was like a group, an occult group. And so he brings all these people together to do this big Halloween sweeps night. And what you're watching, there's a little bit of setup in the beginning that kind of explains all this. But what you're watching is supposedly the actual tapes from the broadcast tapes from that night, along with some behind the scenes footage that's filmed in black and white, which shows the kind of off camera side of what was going on between the live shots.
Which was a nice touch. I like how they did that.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool how they did that.
So I loved everything about this, because when the movie, after you get past the little introductory where you kind of set up who Jack Delroy is, then it kind of becomes like Ghostwatch. Now unlike Ghostwatch, which when it came out was supposedly trying to fool you in that it was an actual program. Obviously, we know this is not an actual program because it takes place in the 70s, and we know this is all fictional. So you're not trying to be fooled, but at the same time, the presentation is like you're sitting there watching one of these old 70s specials, and that's what I absolutely loved about it.
Yeah, and that part was, I was going to say, that's, I think, what was so well done about this is like they captured the feeling. I mean, remember, you and I were young when these were out, but like, I also consider us very young at heart, so like those were memorable things for me. So like it transported me right back to watching those when I was a little kid, and it was exciting when you got to stay up to watch a late night show as a kid, because you really should have been in bed.
Yeah.
But every so often you were allowed to watch it, or if you were sick or something, for some reason, sometimes you were up and you got to watch that, and it was just something so cool and exciting about that, and they captured that perfectly. Like in the colors, the graininess, the laughter, like and I mean, I don't even think I think anyone that knows him knows David Dalmachian just totally nails the character perfectly, like exactly the way you would expect the character to be. And it's just, the whole thing is just so well done. And even the behind the scenes stuff is cool, the way they have like these they get the frantic nature of what you would imagine would be going on behind the scenes in a show like that, and you get the audience's like reactions to stuff, and they like and there's a couple of little like red herring things in there, like they throw in there to make you kind of get like an unnervy feeling about it too, which I thought was kind of neat. Which they didn't like shove in your face, just like little like things that like kind of happen that you see like maybe off camera, or like they don't make a point of it so much, but you like as a viewer you see it going on a little bit. And I kind of think that's pretty cool how they do that, because the whole time it's like you have this unsettled feeling as well as the nostalgia feeling, like mixed perfectly together. And I was like, I was like literally loving every second of this movie.
Yeah, and it's very and because it takes place on a single set, it's very. Again, I hate to say this because it always sounds like a negative, but I don't mean it as a negative, because in a horror film, I think it's very effective, but it feels very claustrophobic.
Right.
You're kind of
I said that about the first Terrifier, which is why I love that one so much.
Yeah, but I like that because I'm claustrophobic anyway, so I love when movies unnerve me by not taking me away out of this room that I can't escape. And like to go back a little bit, when you're talking about the audience, I thought the audience was incredibly well done. Like they looked authentic. I don't know how they got so many. I guess there's tons of vintage shops where you get tons of 70s clothes, but I just thought everything looked spot on. You know, sometimes when you see 70s stuff, it can look a little costumey, but I thought they did a really good job dressing up the audience, and it just felt like real people, and they obviously were real people, but you know what I mean. They felt like real 70s people, and I like that. I thought that was great. I thought the whole interaction between the audience and the host and everything was perfectly done. It really felt like those old shows. But this movie, and again, we can't give too many spoilers, but I will say it did not go where I thought it would go. I thought I thought this was going to be very much what I thought I had it all figured out from the very get-go, and it did not do any of what I expected.
No, but that's good. Like,
that's
how many
good,
times have
yeah.
you like I love when a movie does that. Like, you know, and it's like, and it's not that it's like intentionally misleading. I just think the way they do the trailer and the way the what they've let you in on before you see the movie is just enough for what it should be. It draws you in to want to see it.
Yeah.
But that's it. Then anything else that you probably have expectations of this movie, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
I think you can safely watch the trailer and still thoroughly enjoy this movie. I thought the trailer was very well done. It gives you enough of a taste to know exactly what you're getting into without telling you exactly what you're getting into.
Yeah. And when things do go the different way, I'll just say, it's extremely well done. Like, it does not look like it's like nothing looks like it was. Like, it looks like every single shot and scene was done with like the utmost care to make sure it looked the way it did. You know, like, I don't think they wanted to capture that feeling of the 70s mixed with what they wanted to, and I sound weird because I don't want to give anything specific away, but like what they wanted you to see going on and the way it was presented, and it was just, oh my God, it was just so well done. It's like, I can't wait till more people see this thing so everyone can start talking about it. Like, of course, like Tim and I were saying, like, we can't wait till our friend Jeff Whitmire sees this.
Oh, the minute it was over, I texted Brian and said, "This is such a Jeff movie. It's such a Jeff movie." Yeah, he's gonna love it.
Yeah, and I think this is gonna be huge when it hits streaming, like when it hits Shudder.
Yeah,
you're not gonna be able to scroll through Twitter without seeing 500 posts on it. I'm telling you, it's gonna be that big. And you know, I think what helps this movie too is because like there's very few actors out there that like are that like at the same time while flying kind of under the radar to a lot of people, but is as beloved as David Dalmachian is right now. Like, you know what? Like probably if you say his name to people, they'll be like, who? But then if you start describing one of his characters, I guarantee you they'll be, oh yeah, I like him.
Yeah,
he's great. You know, but like he's not a household name probably because it's hard enough to say.
But he's also not a character actor, really. You know,
but
like
he's not,
a lot of times you say, that guy. Oh, yeah, I've seen him in everything, but he's like a character actor. But he's not. I mean, he's doing like big roles in major, big, giant movies, and yet he still seems like one of those actors that's so incredibly down to earth that he can go do the little indie films or anything he wants to do. It's very rare to see that kind of versatility, I guess.
Yeah, no, and he is easily one of my favorite actors right now. Like, I mean, he's just so good. He's good in whatever role you put him in. You know, he just plays it so good. I mean, I know this is early but for like I'm already saying like he's gotta he's gotta be up for best for Chainsaws for next year because I think this is probably gonna come out too late for this year's awards.
Yeah, definitely.
But next year, absolutely. As I choke on water, I swear to God, I'm the only person who routinely chokes on water. It's supposed to be the thing that stops you from choking, and I go take a sip and I choke on it.
Yeah, you guys are gonna love this one.
Yeah, we might as well stop because talking about it because I mean I know if I was listening to this podcast I'd be God damn it I want to know I want to see it now and we're probably just like torturing people by not being able to give more details. But let's put it this way: when this is released on Shudder, the day it comes out, make sure you watch it.
Yes, definitely. This is the only bad thing about getting screeners is we sometimes see these amazing movies and we can't talk about them that we can't, or we can talk about them, but we can't talk about them with other people because they haven't seen it yet or they haven't been able to see it yet. That's frustrating. But you guys are going to love it when it comes out, so definitely check it out.
Yeah, and be careful because we try and pride ourselves on trying not to spoil things for people. who haven't seen things yet. But Monday, the embargo date is released and lifted, so probably on Monday you're going to see a lot of reviews.
Yeah.
A lot of stories. So just be careful on because I know not everybody is like, I've seen people go out there flat out and like spoil the whole movie the day it's allowed to be spoken about.
Yeah.
And
that's
to me,
fun.
that's just so unfair. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that to somebody? Like, why would you flat out take the enjoyment that you just had away from someone else?
Yeah. Stay away from the reviews and the talk until you've seen it.
Yeah. And then come back and we'll gladly chat with you
Yes,
about it
yes.
online.
So what did we have for our beer pairing?
So I picked the Devil Dancer from Founders Brewing, and there's a lot of devil themed beers out there and things, but with the name Devil and the fact that it was like based off a talk show, which is tend to have variety of sometimes musical acts and everything. I think Devil Dancer sounds like I could see that being a guest on the Jack Delroy's show in the universe of that movie. So it's 12%. This is strong.
Ooh,
it's a triple IPA, dry hopped for 26 days straight with a combination of 10 different hop varieties.
Good God.
112 actual IBU, although it calculates to over 200. So
Good gracious.
this is not what you'd call a light beer.
No.
This is going to you're going to feel this after one.
Yeah, Founders makes a lot of heavy beers. Have you noticed that?
They do. They do.
They make some
Well, and of course
heavy stuff.
And they're famous for their breakfast stout.
Yep, that's what I was thinking of. You have to almost eat that thing with a fork.
Yeah, I mean the other thing is exactly. It's like it is good. We've had it as a hearty breakfast before too, so
Yeah.
it does earn its name. But yeah, so Founders is not a bad brewery in it by any means. That's one of those those run of the mill breweries that I'll never turn down.
Yeah.
They always make solid stuff.
And they have some good IPAs and stuff too. It's not all heavy stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean their all day IPA was a signature for a while that I used to get. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all day IPA is that's one. Whenever we would go on trips and we wanted to buy some beer to bring back to the hotel room or something, that was always a common choice. Was that?
Yeah, well, it distributes very well.
Yeah,
you can usually find it.
You can find it at the gas station right outside the hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why that one, and it was always fairly inexpensive. It was always just a great beer for that kind of thing. Every time I hear about it, it makes me think of theme parks instantly because that was always our hotel beer. So
exactly. Because you literally the hotels would have it and they give shots sometimes.
Yeah.
In their little fridge they'd have 3 different beers. That'd be usually one of them.
Yep.
So
the fan topic food question, I thought this was great, Brian. If you were to host your own late night talk show, what would it be like, and what would be your first guests? So this was hard for me because I had several different answers. And the thing is, if I was going to host a late night talk show, it would have to be about my interest. I don't think I could do Jimmy Kimmel or a David Letterman or any of those kind of guys. I even though that's neat, they talk to celebrities and stuff, but that's not what I'm interested in. So I would have to do something either related to my big interest, which is board games or horror or vinyl records / music. Or maybe I do one with all three. Maybe that's what it would be. It would be a horror, board game, music talk show. But I don't know. I think it would be similar to the format of this podcast because
I was gonna. It's so funny because that literally was gonna kind of be my answer, where I'd be like, it'd have to be a variety because I'd get bored.
Yeah,
and it would have to be things that I really like because I mean, I love watching those, the late night shows where they have celebrity guests on. They'll talk about a movie. They have a little comedy act.
Yeah,
but it's it's okay, but as to be the host of that. To me, after a while, I think I'd lose the oomph to it because I'd be there'd be things where I know I would really wouldn't interest me, like maybe this particular guest, I'm I don't really have any interest in talking to them, It's what am I going to say? And it would come, and it would present a bad show because I wouldn't be able to hide that fact. I wouldn't be able to fake it to a point of where it'd make it interesting. That's why I think I love our interviews because we usually, all the interviews we have on are usually it's about horror movies. It's a writer. About a book we like to hear. It's about a guy that created a game. You're like, that's why when you said that, I'm like, oh my God, Tim and I have almost the exact same answer. So it's like, it's going to be basically like a live version of this podcast.
Yeah, because I would almost have to still have the buddy element. Because I would need somebody to talk to.
I would be your buddy on there, Tim. I would play second fiddle for sure.
Would you be
the one that got the show?
Would you be the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson?
Of course, I totally would.
No, but I would have to have that because if you guys don't know, I'm super introverted.
Which you'd never know.
You would never know.
If you listen to Tim now, but like I've seen elements of it, but overall, I think it just takes a couple of seconds, and once Tim warms up, he's like, you would never know that he was an introvert.
I'm not a great verbal communicator. I'm much better written, but so I have to have that familiarity with someone else there to be able to do like a verbal show. And some of you who listen to this podcast may be like, well, you don't have good verbal now, and that's probably a little true. But
but wait, Brian's the one always talking, and he doesn't shut up. How are you going to get a word in as the host?
But it would have to be. I'd have to have that buddy to play off of. I think because I don't think I could sit there and do it for I don't think I could sit there and talk for an hour by myself. Even
we would have Cone come on, like do little like sketches out on the street. Sketches out on the street.
Cone would be man on the ground. Cone, he would be out there doing the interview things,
he'd be like our Jordan Klepper.
He'd definitely
send them into like horror cons to go start.
And Ken would be like our smart ass guy. We'd bring on to I don't know, criticize. Like if we need something criticized, we just bring Ken on.
And now we made Ken sound horrible. No,
he's the awesomest guy in the world. No,
yeah, he's like the nicest guy you'll ever meet. But it's kind of funny. Yeah, he does. Like he's not ashamed to come out and say a dislike of something.
And it's hilarious when he does. That's why I like it. Yeah. We would have all these guests on, and it would just be the stuff we like. I think because listen, you guys know, and we've heard the feedback from the podcast, and everybody says, what do they like about the podcast? They like that me and Brian are friends and we talk about movies. We're talking about something we like, because I don't think it works if you're doing something that you don't enjoy. I don't think that. I think it's true for anything in life. I don't think you can really truly be super successful at anything that you don't have at least some enjoyment of doing. So
yeah, because what happens is once it becomes like it feels like work. You lose all the fun of it. That's why they like that whole saying came out. What is like if you have a job you love, you never work a day in your life, kind of like that. Yeah. And I always like that quote because it's true. It's like because I love doing the podcast because it's talking to one of my best friends. We're talking about things we love. We're always getting cool guests to talk about things that they create that we love. I mean, what's better? It's like why would we want a different format of if we made it to the big time? Why would we all of a sudden change our format to the show?
I've got a saying I like to say: like your job, love your wife. You knew that was coming.
We haven't said anything yet of planes, trains, and automobiles in there. Hey, and I think that might be one of our first guests though. We'd have to. Sadly, we couldn't have both of them on because John Candy, which is it's killing me because the other day I guess was the anniversary of his death because
I saw that
over Twitter, and it was killing me. I'm like, oh my God, I really do miss that guy. He was so good, and especially because obviously. From Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, how many times Tim and I have quoted that. So I think we'd have to have Steve Martin on, though, just to maybe reminisce with him about the movie,
Yeah. Neil Page.
He'd be a guest we'd have to have on.
Yeah. I mean, as far as guests go, we didn't talk about guests, but like guests, I would love to have. Got to have Stephen King. If we're just doing dream guest, okay, gotta have Stephen King.
And this is not to say that I've loved every single guest that has come on our show. I and I mean that because every one of them has offered something to us that has been like invaluable. Either whether it's just like a cool behind the scenes story or just great conversation. It's like every guest we've had is like I like cherish the appearance.
These are just ones that we haven't gotten yet.
Yeah. Yes, these are people that we haven't.
Definitely Joe Bob.
Yeah.
Definitely Stephen King. In terms of board games that have to invite for Matt Leacock. Okay. I've met him at Gen Con before. He's a super nice guy. But he designed Pandemic, which is the board game that truly got me into board gaming and basically launched our gaming group that's been going strong for like 4 or 5 years now.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that would be one of them.
Oh, you know what I think we'd have to have on? One little slight change. This would be a guest and a kind of a segment thing that we'd have to have on. We'd have to have on we'd have to add some because we haven't done a sketch in a while, but when we do, they're really fun to do. We'd have to have some kind of sketch where you keep getting Biff blocked by what's his face Zach Galligan.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Every time you try and talk to Thomas F. Wilson, he comes in with something, and that would be the bit. And then he'd be on the show all the time, and we'd have a good laugh. And then we'd be blocking him from things.
Yeah, that's right. And we would all laugh about how that got started and everything. Yeah, that'd be great. It's one of those things. I'm not much of a night owl, so I'd have to record. Could we record early so I could go to bed by 11? I couldn't do the live shows. I couldn't do the live late night shows.
Well, a lot of those things though. I think the Letterman and those old shows used to record at 5 o'clock, right? Then they just aired them at night.
Yeah, I think
they had studio audiences, and what studio audience is going to come on a weeknight at 11 o'clock?
Oh yeah. No, yeah, I think you're right. I think they did record most of those early.
I know Saturday Night Live. Now they're
live. Actually,
is
yeah.
in there. They do that. But then I guess the ones in LA though, if you think about it, it's 8 o'clock for the 11 o'clock shows. So those ones that take place in LA, they could be at night at 8 o'clock.
True. Yeah.
I don't know what the recording.
I may have to fly out there and do it from there, Brian.
Yeah. Well, think about it. If we got to that point, we'd have the Civil Gore private jet.
That's true.
that would take you back and forth, so you could be home with your family. As soon as possible for the weekend.
Yeah. So that was a great movie. I think you guys are gonna love it. Great fan topic food question, Brian. I thought that was very thought provoking.
Well, thank you. I love these now. I love
do.
This,
I like how they tie into the
this is
movie.
one I don't think I ever wanted to change.
No.
I know we always say we're gonna toy with things, but I think even if we bring games back, I think this segment needs to stay. This little fan topic food.
Yeah, I like this one.
It relates to the movie we did, and it also is it's kind of a little bonus behind the scenes of us.
It's just we're not doing Patreon yet. It also acts as kind of an off-topic
thing
that we could do. So
it's a good way to end the show.
We've decided. I'm toying around, even though Congress is probably going to ban TikTok. But I'm toying around. I got our TikTok account back open, which doesn't have much on it right now. I think it's got.
Was it closed? Or
no, I just had never logged. I had not logged into it so long. I didn't even know who I was. But
was the fake Civil Gore still there? Remember the Civil Gore 6?
Oh, that's right. We had a fake Civil Gore stalker for a while. No, it's got
Why would someone want to fake us?
It's got a Taylor Swift video I did with me and Anna, and then it's got one review of Dead of Night that I did. But I'm going to really make an effort to try to put some content. I think I'm going to start with doing my soundtrack reviews, which I had done a few on YouTube. But I think TikTok's a better format for those. I can make them shorter, and I
knew what to do on TikTok, so I could add some videos. But
I'm gonna get Anna to show me, and then I can teach you, Brian. But
see, that's the thing. I don't have a young daughter.
No, it's gonna be train the trainer. She's gonna train me, and then I'm gonna train you. We're gonna figure this out.
There we go.
Our old dad selves are gonna try to. Old middle-aged guys are gonna try to figure this TikTok thing out. But I am going to post some videos on there and maybe go through some of my record collection and that kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, we're not doing anything on it now, so I figure anything we put on there is better than nothing. And then you guys can watch it or not, whatever you want to do. But I think it'll be fun. I want to get into some more video stuff.
We definitely need to do that.
So thank you guys for listening. I know this is a shorter episode, so Ken, who likes the shorter episodes? Ken likes the shorter episodes.
Of course, Ken wants the short episodes because
he hates listening.
Because we're always long, and he criticizes the long ones.
So we'll disappoint Cody, but we'll please Ken tonight, and we'll wrap it up at 45 minutes. So take care, guys, and we'll see you back here next week.
See ya.